Chair of the Women's Business Council Philippines, whose brainchild this afternoon is. Maraming salamat, Maylene. Ms. Rosemary Rafael, my other seatmate this afternoon, President of the Women's Business Council Philippines, and President CEO of Airspeed. When I heard Airspeed, I said, oh, that's the concept that was on everyone's minds and lips the very day that the pandemic broke in our country. Naging kasabihan na natin yung logistics, supply chain, hanggang ngayon. So, buhay po kayo. Of course, my beloved friend, Attorney Lorna Capunan, partner at Capunan and Castillo Law. Ms. Nina Aguas, Executive Chairperson of Insular Life. Consul Maricel Villanueva Wu, our Philippine Consul to Ghana. And to all the other women leaders and to our brothers also who are here this afternoon, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the organizers. Mabuhay po kayo for finally, after 2 years, putting up again a first live event. As Sir Richard was saying, it's really great to be able to gather again in person with people. Walang kapalit, mga pagsuzoom natin. Namiss ko na rin talaga, probably like most, if not all of you, na umaten sa mga ganitong personal na pagtitipon. Iba rin talaga, di ba, kapag nakikita face-to-face, kahit na still with masks on often. Thank you to the wonderful women, the wonderful sisters, fellow women leaders, Maylene, Attorney Lorna, Rosemary, Nina. It's an honor to be with you today. Napakalaking dagok ng pandemya sa ekonomiya. At kapag ekonomiya ang pinag-uusapan, mga micro, small, and medium enterprises na karamihan ay mga kababaihan ang nagpapatakbo, as Ms. Rosemary said, ang naiisip natin agad. Pasintabi lang sa ating mga kasamang kalalakihan. Pero sure naman ako na aagree kayo sa akin dahil kung titignan, tila dinisenyo ang mga kababaihan tayo para sa ganitong mga klaseng laban. Also, as Rosemary was telling us earlier, laban na akala natin wala ng katapusan. Laban na akala ng marami ay wala ng patutunguhan. Mga pagsubok at laban na hindi natin akalain na kaya palang lagpasan. An advantage that women have is our ability to attend to several things all at once. So, a mom cooks while keeping an eye on the crib and also on the toddler who's running around. More recently, these women also hold down a full-time job from home while perhaps also preparing for an online course. These are still faint signals at the edge of our radars. But I think these are micro trends that can open up more opportunities and macro opportunities at that for the empowerment of women. So we learn, we work, we nurture, and we are mindful of things even if they are happening simultaneously. Kaya natin mag-multitask. But beyond this, we need to get out of the box. We need to get ahead of the game of prototyping the new normal that will enable women to become economically empowered. We need to have huge amounts of women-centered workshops to redesign many things, including our policies on remote work. The Senate Committee on Women, which I lead, has recently shepherded a bill through plenary deliberation in support of the welfare and economic empowerment of solo parents. I worked with a lot of my solo moms and solo dads as well on this one. And one of the things that the Finance Department and the Trade and Industry Department have agreed to provide is the prioritization of solo parents in the upcoming apprenticeship programs in the private sector, especially with respect to digital skills. Government-supported apprenticeships that enlist and support private workplaces into becoming schools will also be a very important aspect of this new ecosystem of institutions that will open up the opportunities for women and the youth. I'm advocating the scaling up of our apprenticeship programs in the same manner that the 4 Ps or the Patawid Pamilyang Pilipino program was scaled up from supporting just 200,000 families to 4 million families 10 years ago. I think that if we focus on apprenticeship programs, we will accomplish 3 things. First, apprenticeship programs can cure the long-standing jobs skills mismatch, especially as there is a hunger in industry, especially in the IT BPO industry, for digital skills. Before the pandemic, I'm told that HR departments had to go through the CVs of 25 applicants before they could find a good enough match for a vacancy. Apprenticeship programs will provide government support for private firms that would hone the skills even of new entrants into the labor force. Second, apprenticeship programs will address the loss of jobs and economic displacement, especially and predominantly among women and the young during the pandemic and its aftermath. The danger in having a prolonged gap between schooling and work. The Philippine Statistics Authority said that that gap has more than doubled during the pandemic. The danger of that is that the chances of ever finding a job decrease very fast with unemployment. This month, the first batch of college students who were products of the K-12 program will be looking for work and will be joining the labor force. Malaking pagsubok sa atin dahil makakasabayan nila ang napakaraming unemployed at underemployed na may experience na sa trabaho. And even now, companies are telling us that this first batch of K-12 graduates will take 2 years before they can be absorbed by the private sector. Yes, and we're not yet even talking about the graduates of next year, and then kasabay pa nito malawakang underemployment. And third, I have a feeling that career paths for Filipino workers will become possible only when workplaces will become part of the educational system. When this finds translation into apprenticeship policy, I believe that the FIRB, if you recall from the CREATE law, the FIRB will have a central role in designing industry-specific inducements for both employer and employees to invest in lifelong learning. The homes of many middle-class families became places of work, and a lot of women have taken the risk of opening up our own small businesses. Mula sa pagtitinda ng merienda, sa labas ng bahay, hanggang sa pagbebenta ng mga damit, sapatos, at kung ano bang pwedeng ibenta. More opportunities should open up for women in micro businesses to venture into e-commerce and social commerce platforms. Malaki ang maitutulong nito para mas mapalago pa ang kanilang negosyo. Alam ko na malaki ang papel at kontribusyon ng mga ganitong pagtitipon. So maraming salamat mo, Miley. Malaki ang papel at kontribusyon para mabigyan ng platform ang mga kababaihan na magbahagi ng best practices, maging inspirasyon sa kabaro at sa kapatid na lalaki din, at magbigay ng oportunidad para sa pag-unlad, para finally masabi natin mapapagtagumpayan natin ang ating laban. I am hoping that the investors and also the next administration will support remote work, including remote work by solo parents. Yes. Scaling up of apprenticeships and incentives to harness the digital platforms, to open up vital new pathways for the economic inclusion of women, the young, and the deeply scarred emerging middle class. Minsan parang disappearing middle class, endangered species middle class, women, youth, middle class, all struggling to find a new normal that will empower them. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Very good. Thank you.